Hi, everybody, and welcome to Module 6. I first off just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work you've put into this class. I know it moves very quickly, and there's a lot to do in each module. So I just wanted to give you my appreciation for all of that hard work. So let's do a Module 6 walkthrough. Go ahead and click on the Module button, and then scroll down until you see Module 6. And the first thing that we'll take a look at in Module 6 is the overview. So go ahead and click there on that link. And once you have arrived at the overview page, you will see that our learning objectives for the week are to use culturally relevant audience-specific language in the feedback draft of your problem solution proposal. So we will be working on that first draft. So everything that you've learned up until this point will be put to use in composing the draft. And our writing mentor will be setting up some workshops later on to help you with your composition. Of course, you can message our writing mentor or myself at any time if you need some help. And then after you've presented it and I've given you feedback, you may also want to reach out to the writing mentor or to myself for additional help if you weren't sure how to apply that feedback. So we're going to be integrating diverse perspectives. We're going to be thinking about arguments and counter arguments. We're going to be considering which problems might work, which solutions might work best for the problem that we've chosen. And we're going to be taking a look at the feedback that our peers identified and the feedback that I gave you. So if you scroll down and click the next button, you'll see that that's where our top hat materials are contained, and you'll work through those top hat materials before you begin composing any assignments for the week. That'll give you some clues on how to proceed, so it's always useful to make your way through top hat first. Then click on the next button, and you'll see that we have some additional learning materials to go through, and these are materials for you to read and watch or learn. There's no submission required here, but it does provide you with guidance on how to put together the draft and how to, utilize the tips and tricks and resources and everything that we have gained in the class so far. So you'll see our first video that pops up here is the genres for the problem solution proposal project. So we're either writing a letter or a memo. And so you'll need to become familiar with what those styles are and tailor your proposal, your project to either a letter or a memo following those conventions. I'll let you go ahead and read through those at your leisure. But let's click on that next button for now. And that will take you to some instructions for the feedback draft of problem solution proposal. So as you can see, this may take you a while to complete. So make sure to leave ample time and make sure that you have already reviewed the problem solution proposal project description, and you can see a link in the instruction materials there on exactly what you're trying to accomplish. If you scroll down, you'll see the instructions for this are to compose your project for instructor and peer feedback. So again, you will be submitting this to me and to the peer feedback Dropbox, and I will be assigning you peer partners. As you may have noticed during the last peer partner assignment, it's essential for you to turn your work in on time so I can assign peers for you to review, and so peers have time to review your work and you can get some additional feedback. So in step 2, after you've done this first part, then you're going to evaluate your project. You're going to be assessing the strengths of your draft according to the rubric. Remember, we're always using that rubric as a checklist. You can pose questions to instructors and peers about the draft. I like it when people put questions there for me so that I know specifically what you're struggling with and what you would like feedback on. You can explain what you think you did well and what you think you might improve on, and that'll also help me target my feedback to you individually. you're going to be taking a look at all the previous feedback you've seen in the course. And of course, on the rubric, there's usually that box that says, have you considered the other feedback that you've received? Right. So to get full points for that, you have to demonstrate that you have been working with the feedback that you've received and revising accordingly. So then there's a reflection on your use of AI-generated content. And so that kind of an assessment that you'll include will help your readers direct the feedback appropriately. And then step 3 is to submit your project for feedback. And you'll notice there's a whole list of project requirements that you can read through. You'll need that 2 to 3 paragraph self-assessment, and the full draft of your project will include all of those bullet points. Make sure you've used that as a checklist. And notice that there is a multimodal component and that you should include that with your project. So you'll be turning in the written portion and also the separate advocacy ad or the video PSA, whichever one you've chosen to do. If you scroll down further, you'll see the rubric and what's expected, and you can read through all of that information. Go ahead and click on the next button, and that's going to take you over where you will be submitting your draft for your peer feedback, and that's where I'll be assigning the peer reviews. So don't forget that step. And it has instructions on how to locate your assigned peers to review. And you've been through this before, so hopefully it should be self-explanatory and you're already familiar with the process. So if you click on the next button, that brings you to the Module 6 peer review page. You'll notice that you're going to be reviewing 2 drafts from your peers. And do not put your peers' writing into the Gen AI tool. Okay, so then go ahead and click the next button. And you'll notice that there is some revision workshop information. So this could be at least 2 hours to review any feedback you've received on your draft, complete the self-assessment form, and attend a synchronous or asynchronous workshop and review the feedback that you've received. So the writing mentor will be running these workshops for you and will post sometimes in the announcements for you to take a look at. And if you scroll down, it will give you more information on how to fill out the self-assessment form and how to sign up for a workshop, and then what to reflect on and what to revise. Click the next button, and that brings you over to the Start Revising. So this is not something that you will submit now. This is just to get your brain going on how you're going to be revising your project to turn it in for the final time. So you don't have to revise your draft or submit that yet. That will come later on in the class, towards the very end of the class. So revising, you should expect to take about 4 to 5 hours to revise. And what I'm looking for in your revisions is not just sentence level revisions. That means that you need to do more than just look at grammar and punctuation. You're going to be needing to do some restructuring according to the feedback that you've received, maybe a new thesis sentence, some adding different pieces to your multimodal component. And so maybe adding in some primary research. There's lots of different things you can do during the revising process, but it should be a substantial revision. So it's important to get started early on those revisions. So keep scrolling down and it'll give you instructions and guidelines on how to go about doing those revisions and completing your draft. And that wraps up Module 6 for us. I hope this was helpful to you, but as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me or the writing mentor, and we will be happy to help you. Have a great week.